get ready for the first one.
Mind your way at all. Hello.
I'd like to invite
Oh, no, it's not on.
There we go. I'd like to invite Josh up here to join us.
Oh, no.
We were kind of planning on him helping us.
Where'd he go?
Ooh, I see some familiar faces I think I haven't seen in a while. Welcome to everybody. Where's my buddy Josh?
Oh, no.
These musicians.
It's 10:01.
Can't live with them. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and start.
Okay.
He can catch up. In a time full of war, be peace. And in a time full of doubt, just believe. There ain't that much difference between you and me. In a time full of war, be peace.
In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right.
Don't
Hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light.
la la
La la la la. La 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 la.
place that needs a change, make a difference. In a time full of noise, just listen. 'Cause life is but a breeze, better living. In a place that needs a change, make a difference.
In a world full of hate, be a light.
And
When you do somebody wrong, make it right.
oh, don't
Hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Now in a race that you can't win, slow it down. Yeah, you only get one go round. 'Cause that finish line is 6 feet in the ground. In a race that you can't win, slow it down.
In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light.
It's hard to live in color when you just see black and white. In a world that's full of hate, give light.
Good morning and welcome to Live Hope Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm AJ Juraska, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm the intern minister at Live Oak. Thank you for joining us, we who bring a teaching of hope, we who bring a saving message, who welcome all in our doors, Muslims and Christians, Jews and atheists, straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, cisgender, transgender, non-binary, and intersex, all who are searching, seeking, looking for more meaning, more service, more love, all of us gathered here together. I invite you to put your smartphone on worship mode, which means it won't make any sounds, but you can still post on social media about what you hear today, and maybe let those of us who can't be with us this morning share a little of our experience, or maybe even an invitation to join you here next week. Now please rise in either body or in spirit and join us in singing number 298, We Are a Gentle, Angry People, and remain standing for our chalice lighting.
Wake now my senses and hear this. Wait, I got the wrong song. This did not match. You know what? I need a hymn. This did not match. Somehow my thank you so much. Wow. Okay, well it's still early.
There's lots of grace.
Yeah, thank you. This was enough. We are
Gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. Our chalice this morning is being lit by Teddy Van Winkle. Different chart.
That's it.
Okay. This is a congregation not bound by creed but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm our church covenant now. We affirm our character and unity, love and for all ages,
Good morning. My name is Mark Anderson, and my pronouns are he, him. One thing I particularly love about this church is its size. Not too big, not too small, and we get to know each other. Church, in my opinion, should not be something that we experience like an Austin City Limits concert. Although we do have a concert this morning. I'd like to welcome any guests we have today. Thank you for taking a chance to walk through our doors and join us for worship. If this is your first time here, please stop by our visitors table out in the Welcome Center so that we can meet you and answer any questions you might have. This is a church that's buzzing 7 days a week. The definitive way to keep up with what's happening is through our weekly email newsletter. You can sign up for it at the visitors desk and also go to our website at liveoakuu.org and click on what's happening. Live Oak UU has many ways for you to connect with our beloved community beyond Sunday. Opportunities are shared on our website and newsletter. One event happening this week is our monthly whole church drum circle with Ram Santhanam. Ram's sitting over there, and this will take place from 11:15 to 12:15 in our Common Grounds building. And now our call to worship today comes from Heather K. Januels. We welcome this day called by war, by the suffering we inflict and endure, when minds across borders fail to reason and compromise. We come this day called by loss, the deaths of those who serve in our name, those whose lives end before their natural course in service to a greater cause than their own. We come this day called by hope, hope that we will, in some season, finally surrender our swords for plowshares. And we come this day called by peace. May it hear its song. May we proclaim its promise. May our remembrance today renew our struggle. We can never stay or rest.
Each Sunday, as we gather as a congregation, we bring our joys and sorrows with us into this room. When we ask for celebration or remembrance, or prayers or thoughts, we make of this sanctuary a sacred circle. Bill Dower is celebrating the wonderful group of volunteers who are making music together. Eileen, I always feel like I say your last name wrong. I'm so sorry. Berku? Thank you, Berku. I officially graduated from high school yesterday morning. She goes on to say, I ended up ranking number 16 out of 500 kids in my class for grades. Rosella says, I just finished a successful school year and will be returning to the same classroom in the same Paris in August. And then we have Luann Hoffman, who said, we have collected some 2,000 gallons of rainwater and our garden is flourishing. I walk through it and feel spiritually renewed. Tim Buckley says, Friday I traveled to Chicago for a memorial service for my sister who died during COVID and her husband who died recently, plus assuming the mantle of family elder. Feels heavy. This Memorial Day Sunday, we will include a sorrow written by Jennifer Cottrell, a UU member of Beverly Unitarian Church in Chicago, Illinois. Each week we bring our joys and sorrows to this community, that our sorrows may be carried with the support of others and our joys may be magnified. On this Sunday before Memorial Day, there is one great sorrow that we collectively share: the sorrow of those individuals in the armed services who lost their lives in war. Today, we remember them and grieve their loss. A man in a U.S. Navy dress, whites, stands on the grass in a military cemetery looking at headstones. We remember those who joined the armed services by choice and those who had no choice. We remember those who fought in wars with just cause and those that had no cause. We remember those who sacrificed their lives for wars they believed in, and those who sacrificed their lives for wars they did not. We remember those who have gone missing and were never found. We remember those civilians who have died as collateral damage in wars. We remember the loved ones those lost have left behind. We pray for world leaders that they may make wise choices that prevent wars. We pray for those around the world who are currently suffering the ravages of war. We pray for peacemakers who strive for the end to many conflicts around the world. We remember, and we pray for peace. For all joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, we bear witness with our care and our concern. Now please join us in singing the sanctuary song.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through, with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew.
Please rise as you are able for hymn number 369, This is the Truth That Passes Understanding.
We're going to play through it once. It's got an interesting sort of old-fashioned melody and only one verse. So you'll get a chance to listen to it before you get to help sing.
Hello, I'm Chris Jarman. I'm your Director of Faith Development, and my pronouns are she, her. Let's take a moment together this morning. Can you put on your imagination for a moment? Yeah, thank you, Mike. Can you think of a place where you feel completely safe and peaceful? Maybe it's in bed at night, maybe it's in the arms of a loved one giving you a hug, or maybe it's out in nature with a breeze that's gentle and the world feels quiet? What tells you it's okay to rest? What signals that you're safe now? Anybody have something they want to share? What signals that it's time to rest? A deep sigh.
Running water.
Ooh, running water. Say that again, Ted. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Okay, I thought I heard Teddy. Yell it out again. Just yell it out. Okay. It's all right. There's no pressure. Just where do you feel safe? How do you know when it's time to go to bed? Sound of rain. Oh, yeah, that makes me sleepy. Yeah. Tired eyes, maybe a warm bed. Maybe it's good night story. Maybe bath time. For people in the United States military, there's a special sound that says just that. It says, you're safe. You can rest. It's a short medley. It's called taps. It's just 24 notes long, but it carries a deep message. It was written a long time ago during the Civil War by a general and a bugler. And in those days, imagine this, there were no cell phones, no laptops, no radios. Bugle calls were how messages were shared across large areas. There was a different tune for different instructions. Wake up, gather together, get ready, stand down. But one of the most important bugle calls there is the end of the day. When soldiers heard taps being played, it meant something beautiful. There's no danger nearby. No one is attacking. You're not expected to stand guard unless it's your turn. It meant for now, in this moment, there's peace. They could lay down their worries, close their eyes, and rest. They could lay down and rest. Over time, taps became more than just a signal for bedtime. It became a way to say goodbye with love and with dignity. The first time it was played at a memorial service was also during the Civil War. After a long and painful battle, both sides paused to bury their dead and their fallen. The usual military tribute would have been 3 rifle shots, but people worried that the sound of the rifles might be mistaken for fighting and restart the violence. So instead, somebody picked up a bugle and played taps. And it said everything that needed to be said. We remember. We grieve. We rest. We hope for peace. That's what tap means. It's a powerful prayer. Let's listen to it. Thank you. 24 short notes that say so much. We try to make our congregation a place where people can feel safe and at peace. We work outside of these walls to create a community like that too. A world where everyone feels at peace in their neighborhoods and in their towns. May each of us find our own version of taps, a sign that tells our hearts, it's okay to breathe, it's okay to rest, It's okay to be at peace. May it be.
I'd like to ask the band to come back. What we're going to play is a Martin Gaye song. We wrote this during as the war in Vietnam was underway. And he got a lot of pushback from his managers and the record company. They said, "You're a soul singer, you should not be singing this kind of song." And he ignored him. And it got to be one of his biggest hits. And we're really lucky to have some of the very talented musicians on stage with us today. We're going to let you hear a soprano saxophone, which is not a common instrument, but a very, very beautiful one. Right?
quote from an article written by Live Oak member Chaplain George Tiger. Memorial Day is not to be celebrated. It is to be observed, scrutinized, and witnessed on behalf of the true witnesses of our human failure to love our neighbor as ourselves. Will not forget their living that will stir. Will not forget their living that will stir us to action.
Chicago that I grew up in. Can we get Chicago that I grew up in? Can we have a parade that would go down Main Street, and it was really exciting because we go down Main Street, and I thought it was a big celebration. I came to understand what not a day for celebration. Forms for Girl Scouts, or those who had fallen in war. Forms for Girl Scouts, or those who had fallen in war. It had monuments with people's names and remembering some of his friends who had Pledge of Allegiance with people's names and remembering some of his friends who had Pledge of Allegiance as a freshman. Where are you from today? Because I started to have more questions about but also be patriotic. How do we hold those who have died? Specific questions for us to one who struggles with these war-adjacent holidays. How do we really have to die to keep our country in war and fight for peace? Lost, who died at. How do we hold? I had a thought about that, and I wanted to represent those who had died in war in a way that was more tangible. So I thought about using grains of rice to represent each person who died in recent wars. And at the risk of being trite, I think this is a great example of just the enormity of loss that we're experiencing now, or that we have experienced and continue to experience. So I'm going to hold up the different wars, and initially you might look at this war in Afghanistan bag of rice and think, wow, there's not very much in there, especially if you're sitting far away from me. But in fact, this represents 2,432 people who died in the war in Afghanistan. And we're going to pass these bags around, and I encourage you to open them and take out a grain of rice and notice how small it is and just how many are in this bag if you start to count a few of them out. And think about the person that this individual rice represents and the number of people that are in this bag of rice, this representation, this memorial. So Chris is going to go ahead and pass these out to sections, so maybe this one can go over to this section. And then we have the war in Iraq. From 2003 to 2011, 4,576 people died in the war in Iraq. So we'll go ahead and pass this out. Maybe this can go to the far section. I'm going to skip over the Vietnam War for a second for a couple reasons, and talk about the Korean War, which was from 1950 to 1953, so over 3 years, but represents 36,574 deaths. And it's often called the Forgotten War. And how can we forget 36,574 people who lost their lives? So we're going to go ahead and pass this one out. Thank you, Chris. And feel free to take time with these bags before you pass them, but make sure to zip them up before you pass them to your neighbor, because we want to preserve the rice and the memorial. This last bag is the Vietnam War. From 1961 to 1975, 58,209 people lost their lives. So we'll pass this one out. I didn't bring all the rice for all the American wars, and these just represent the American soldiers who died in war. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But if I were to bring all the rice for all the wars, it would have been 70 pounds of rice. Over 650,000 people died in the Civil War, most of them from disease. Only about 200,000 died from actual fighting. And then in World War II, I believe it's over 250,000 people died. So we've had a lot of loss through war. But we've also had loss in other ways. And I want to read something that really surprised me, which is a 2001 study on civilians in war by the International Committee of the Red Cross showed a shift in a stark statistic. In World War I, 9 soldiers were killed for every civilian. So in other words, for each civilian who died, there were 9 soldiers who died, who knew they were going into war. While in today's wars, 10 civilians die for every soldier. So though this is Memorial Day and we need to honor those who died, who were enlisted as soldiers, I think we also need to remember that there's a huge cost to war that's unseen. And that was a 2001 study, so you can imagine that it may have changed since then, and I fear that it's changed for the worse. Not that we want to lose any lives at all. So how do we measure the cost of war, the hole left by someone's life, and how many more people would we have on this earth if these soldiers had not died, if peace had prevailed? So the good news is we have our UU values to help us answer some of these questions, starting with love. In order to honor those who sacrifice their lives, we have to speak truth about the impact of loss and its price. It's the other side of the coin of love, this grief. And we have to look at memorials not just as rice in a bag or names on a wall, but as real humans who lived real lives. Coming in today, I heard this lyric from Jack Johnson which says, "Love is the answer at least to most of the questions on our heart." If we had a little more love for those and remembrance for those who have passed, the world could be a better place. Which brings us to justice, which says, we work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. Where all thrive. We want everyone to thrive, not just those who fought for America, but we want the whole world to thrive, right? And we understand that these wars happen for a reason, but we can still remember everyone who was involved in them. Which brings us to equity. Equity says we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We want everyone to have dignity, including those who have passed. We also have to remember that anytime we're talking about the armed services, we're talking about class and race challenges. So, for example, in the armed services, it's much more disproportionately filled by people from lower socioeconomic classes because of the economic advantages of going into the armed services. But what if we had all of those economic advantages, such as free education and living wage for everyone, so that they could choose whether they wanted to go into armed services on its merits and not just because of the economic benefits? Additionally, there are racial disparities. People of color are overrepresented in the military, especially in the military as a whole, but underrepresented in the leadership. So there's racial inequities there. So when we advocate for veterans, and this is not Veterans Day, it's Memorial Day, but when we advocate for both veterans and people who have lost their lives in war, we're actually doing anti-racist, anti-oppression work. Transformation says we adapt to the changing worlds, and openness to change is fundamental. We need to keep our minds open when we're approaching these issues and be willing to think differently about what's happening as we fight for peace. And maybe we can be open to the both and. We can both honor those who have died in war, who sacrificed their lives, and we can fight for peace. Those things are not contradictory. Pluralism says that we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, all sacred. Every person who passed away in war was of sacred worth, and we lose something when they pass, which gets us to interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. So, John Donne, who wrote a meditation that's famously known as For Whom the Bell Tolls, wrote, "Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind." But the good news is we also have generosity, which says we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. So this is a heavy subject, and yet our faith calls us to hope. Aubrey Sampson says, "Lament helps us hold on to God's goodness while battling evil's evil at the same time." And for those atheists in the room, you can just say to goodness. We hold on to goodness while battling evil's evil at the same time. We can do both. And as we've talked about in my prior sermons, we grieve so we can hope, and we hope so we can act. So how do we do this? Well, I suggest that things like passing these memorials around, we also are going to have an activity afterwards in the coffee area where you can make mandalas with the rice to take home with you. So this is an example. So you can put some glue on the paper and then sprinkle the rice on and take it home so you can remember these people who passed away in war. We can also grieve by remembering someone specific who was lost in war, either someone you know, or if you're fortunate enough to not know someone who's passed away in war, you can go to the virtual Vietnam Memorial site and look up a name and remember them. We can also educate ourselves about the conflicts that are currently going on in the world. There are too many to name, but I'll name some of them. The more familiar ones that show up in our news more often are Ukraine and Gaza, but probably we don't see that often enough, either of those. We also have wars in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, in the Republic of Congo, which is a separate country, in Sudan, Myanmar, there's conflict in Haiti. So there's a lot of options to choose from to educate ourselves. And more recently, we've heard about India and Pakistan and the fighting there. And then there's also Yemen with the Houthis, and I didn't want to leave that one out. So we grieve so that we can hope, because if we don't make space for grief, it can be hard to hope. So once we grieve, we can hope by praying for peace. And if you don't pray, you can put good vibes out into the world for peace, or you can act for peace. You can call your congresspeople and ask them not to send bombs to places that are bombing children, which is happening. So there is action to take, even though we don't always feel like it. And one of those actions is to continue to create peace in our own community. I want you to imagine what peace would look like, what peace we would have in the world if we truly remembered those who died in war, if we stuck by our values even when dealing with complex moral issues. I dare you to use the grief of this day to imagine a more loving, just, equitable, transformative, pluralistic, interdependent, generous world. We can create a more beautiful, peaceful world, even if only in our small corners. To build on Chaplain Tiger's charge to us from our reading, may the grief of our remembering create in us a yearning for peace that will stir us to action. May it be so, and blessed be. So now we'll move into a time for meditation. Get comfortable in your seat. take a soft gaze in front of you or close your eyes. And we're going to do a meditation that was from a song that we used to sing in this congregation. We're going to breathe in peace and breathe out love. So as you breathe in peace and breathe out love. Let's continue to do that in silence, knowing that the sounds of children are included in our silence. Please join us in singing. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We are the tradition of the Free Church. Our church and our community outreach are supported not from an outside source, but from within. We invite you to make a financial contribution to help sustain this church's vital work, knowing that every gift, large and small, is appreciated and carefully used in service to our mission. The QR code or text information for donations is available at the back of the seat pocket. And if you would like to donate by credit card, Apple, or Google Pay, someone from stewardship can assist you near the kitchen after the service. As the ushers come forward to receive the offering, I invite you to say with me these words. We are building beloved community with our labor and our treasure. With gratitude, we receive the offering. May it help us to fulfill our mission in the world.
If we have hope of transforming the world and changing ourselves, we must be bold enough to step into our discomfort, brave enough to be clumsy there, loving enough to forgive ourselves and others. May we, as a people of faith, be granted the strength to be so bold, so brave, and so loving. Amen, and blessed be.
This is your invitation to the Faith Development Hour. And today we have many interesting things going on. The nursery will be open until 12:30, 12:45. We have drumming circle in the common ground room. We have instruments to share. Come drum, get the vibrations going and carry it through your body for the rest of the week. It's an awesome thing. Also, as AJ said, out in the fellowship hall, we'll have the rice set up that you can make your own art project, mandala, mosaic, however you want to do it, if that's what you would like to do, along with our tabletop discussions led by our intrepid Betty Johnson. So there are many different things, and I want to invite Karen up because she's going to tell us a few things that are coming up, and I want to share with you that next week we are having the old-fashioned summer festival here in-house after the service. We'll have cold things and treats and old-fashioned games to play. Come on in, Karen.
Hi there, I'm Karen Santana, longtime member here, and I have two announcements. The first one is June 7th is Round Rock Pride. We're going to have a booth there, and I'm looking for volunteers to come out and share the good news about our church. So you can sign up at the Welcome Center after the service, or there's also a link in the newsletter. And the second announcement I have is we are having an all-church retreat in September 26 to 28. Registration is open. This is the first time we've had a Live Oak exclusive event out there. So this is everybody from the church is welcome to come. It's intergenerational. And sign up soon, especially if you want a private room, because they're going really fast. And I wanted to let you know scholarships are available. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.
So however you choose to connect today, we hope that you'll join us, and let's work together to empower dreams and encourage growth in each other and to embrace joy.
And now I invite you to rise as you are able for our closing hymn, number 299, Make Channels for the Streams of Love, and remain standing for the extinguishing of our chalice.
Channels for the streams of love, where they may only run, and love has overflowing streams to fill them, everyone. You could do a little better. Oh, I see. This is 299. I'm reading off this because it's got an accordion. You guys are a little early.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's good. It's better to be early than late. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So. Channels for the streams of love, they may broadly run, and love has overflowing streams, fill them every
Let us say these words to each other. We extinguish the flame here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again. It has been a gift to be together today. Thank you to today's home team who provided hospitality and worship and tech leadership. Judy Conley, Mark and Melissa Zrotny, Larice Buffner, Chris Sutterby, Don Rogers, and Eileen Burku. Let's continue that hospitality by spending the next 5 minutes talking with someone we don't know well. After the postlude. Members, be sure to introduce yourself to any first-time visitors we have. They're the ones with the handwritten name tags. And show them where the visitors' table and coffee are. And may we all know the blessings of fellowship.
Now we have a Bob Dylan tune from his early electric days, and it's differently balanced than everything we've done so far. So we're going to ask for your understanding. That might be a little much. Yeah, that might be a little much. We'll see. When you're working with a drummer, you never know. And so well, the drummer doesn't have a volume knob, you know? So how hard is she going to hit it? Yeah. See, I told you. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 2, 3. Now Johnny's in the basement, mixing up the medals, and I'm on the pavement, thinking about the devil. In the French coat, put it all made on. Says he got a bad thought, wants to get it made on. No bad kid, something we did. God knows when, but you're going to win. Better run down it and better run for 100. Better run down with the $1 bills. And I'm going back to America.